Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the channel. We got some Yrl Division 1 playoff round 2, race 12 of the season at Watkins Glen, New York, at the Glen. And we got 12 playoff drivers still in this chase for the championship. Candy, Devin OG, Sean D, H. Hess, Philip Reynolds, Trouble, Zoom, Chris Delaware, Glenn B, Steve R, Bobby, and Dez. And they'll be qualified in the top 19. And let's see, they'll be the only TV drivers in the race. And let's see where they're going to start here. Round 2, 4 will be eliminated. We'll be down to the 8 drivers after this race. The bottom 4, the worst 4 finishers here in the playoffs, will be eliminated. And we'll be heading to Talladega next, and then Homestead for the championship. So let's put the drivers, shuffle them, put them in the hat, and see where these playoff drivers are going to qualify at. From 1 to 19. That means there'll be 7 spots open for non-TV drivers in the top and middle group. First up is 15th. He's going to qualify 15th. And that's Bobby in the 20 car. She'll be 15th. Okay. Next up is the 10th spot. Who's starting in the 10th spot? That'll be Trouble in the 55. Starting 9th. Be Sean D in the 33. Starting 4th. Be Devin OG in the 28. Starting 6th. Will be Dez in the 96. Starting 18th, Steve R. So he'll be one of the, when we start this race, definitely be one of them out of the playoffs as we start. Steve R, he'll have to improve his position to stay in the playoffs. 17th, another driver who definitely will need to improve. Philip Reynolds will be starting 17th. Again, will definitely be one of the bottom 4 when we start the race. Starting 13th. Be Glenn B in the 23. Starting 7th. Be Candy in the 68. Three more to go. Starting 16th. Definitely be one of the bottom 4. Will be Chris Delaware in the 76. Starting 8th. Will be Zoom in the 4. Hi, ID. How are you? Live viewers, cars get screwed. You're not in this race, ID. You'll be in the next race here later on in Division 2. So Sit back and enjoy. Here we go. Third. Yeah, at least 5, right? And starting third will be HS in the 88. So right now the bottom 4 is Steve R., Philip Reynolds, Chris Delaware, and Bobby. Don't have to do some maneuvering to get out of the bottom 4 in order to make it to the next round of the playoffs. Now we'll put the rest of the starting grid in here and reshuffle. And shuffle the drivers and find out where everybody else is going to start now that we got the playoff drivers. Know where they're starting at. Still got the pole sitter and the outside pole sitter. Be non-playoff drivers. 11, 12, and 14 be non-playoff drivers. Hey, how's it going, Hunter? All right, we'll shuffle these guys up. All right, I appreciate it, ID. Okay. Here we go. Mix them up. And let's get this starting grid. Starting 19th will be Hammer Time in the 34. Starting 30th. Let's move these down so we can actually put them there. Will be Michael B., who got eliminated last round from the playoffs. And starting 11th will be Tim Tribe Fan in the 26th, one of his best starting positions of this year. Starting 5th will be Matt in the 59. Starting 14th will be Jim Cutter in the 68. Starting 21st will be P-Jet in the 44. Starting 33rd be G-Puck. Can't say defending champ, just a reigning champ, because he cannot win the championship in that 22 car. Starting 38th will be Elvis in the 00. Starting 23rd will be Demos in the 17. Starting 26th will be Keith Avalon in the 1. Starting 37th will be D. Scott in 13. Starting shotgun and last will be Danny and Gray in the 42. Starting 27th will be Paul Govier in the 55. Starting 32nd be Parks in the 88. Starting 36th be Double D in the Deuce. Starting 34th be Carter in the 55. Starting 39th be Fanomatic, who won the last race. Starting 39th in that 19 car. Outside pole setter will be Glenn P in the 4 car. Starting 35th will be Ken Castro in that 92. And your pole setter for this race at the Glen, Watkins Glen, will be MP Fox. In the 12 car. Starting 28th will be Bob B in the 69. Starting 42nd will be yours truly, Dwayne Marks, in the rear with the gear. No place to go but up except for one spot. Hey, Paul. Starting 12th. Last car in the top and middle group will be Keith White in the 17. Everybody else will be in the bottom group now. Starting 20th will be Darla in the 14. Starting 29th is Alan Shaw in the 11. Paul, you're starting 27th. Starting 22nd is Sarah Reynolds in the 97. Okay, starting 25th will be Ward in the 24. Starting 40th will be J.B. Gorman in the 79. Starting 24th, be Fast Eddie in the 9. Starting 41st will be Frank in the 00. And the last spot should be 31st, and that will be Michael P. in the 73. The Michaels are together. Okay, let's go over this starting lineup. You got MP Fox on the pole in the 12, Glenn P. starting second in the 4, H. Hess third in the 88, starting fourth, Devin OG in the 28, fifth, Matt in the 59, sixth, Dez in the 96, seventh, Candy in the 68, eighth, Zoom in the 4. Starting ninth, Sean D in the 33, starting 10th, Trouble in 55, 11th, Tim in the 26, starting 12th, White in the 17, starting 13th, Glenn B in the 23, starting 14th, Jim Cutter in the 68, starting 15th, Bobby in the 20, starting 16th, Delaware in the 76, starting 17th to 64, Philip Reynolds, starting 18th, Steve R in the 25, 19th, Hammer Time, 20th is Darla in the 14, 21st is PJ in the 44, 22nd is Sarah Reynolds in the 97, 23rd is Demos in the 17, 24th is Fast Eddie in the 9, 25th is Ward in the 24, 26th is going to be Keith Avalon in the 1. Starting 27th is Paul Govier in the 55. Starting 23rd is Bob B in the 69. Starting 29th is Shaw in the 11. Starting 30th is Michael B in the 1. Starting 31st is Michael P in the 73. Starting 32nd is Parks in the 88. The reigning champ, starting 33rd, G Puck in the 22. Carter starting 34th in the 55. Starting 35th is Ken in the 92. Starting 36th is Double D in the Deuce. Starting 37th is D Scott in the 13. Starting 38th is Elvis in the 00. Starting 39th is Fan-O-Matic in the 19. Starting 40th will be J.B. Gorman in the 79. Starting 41st. And the 00 is Frank. Starting 42nd. Yours truly, Dwayne Martz in the 21. And shotgun in last will be Danny in gray. All righty, let's go down here to Watkins Glen. As MP Fox will take us to the green flag to get this race started here at Watkins Glen, New York. And here we go. We got a top group of trouble already. They're wrecking at the Glen. It'll be a no modifier on escape, but a -1 on repair. So MP needs a 7 to escape. And he doesn't get it. So NP Fox is involved in the wreck. How about Glenn P? He needs a 7. Doesn't get it. NP and Glenn P are involved in the wreck. How about HS? He needs a 6. Playoff driver here. He doesn't get it. Uh-oh. We're going to the middle group already. This is the big one. Devin OG needs a 5. Doesn't get it. They're wrecking like crazy going into turn 1. Matt needs a 10. And he gets it. Matt will take over the lead here. Dez needs an 8. He gets it. Candy needs a 7. She doesn't get it. Like I say, we're going to the middle group. Zoom needs an 8. She gets it. Sean D needs a 7. He gets it with Snake Eyes. Trouble can't wreck. Tim needs a 7. He doesn't get it. These playoff drivers up front causing the wreck. And it's what the playoff guys didn't want to see. Keith White needs a 7. He doesn't get it. Keith White's involved in the wreck. Okay, Glen B needs a 7. Doesn't get it. They're wrecking like crazy. Spinning out all over the place, hitting that guardrail. Jim Cutter needs an 8. He gets it. Bobby needs a 6. Doesn't get it. Sure, a lot of playoff drivers are wrecking. Chris needs an 8. He gets it. Philip Reynolds needs a 7. He gets it. Steve R needs a 6. He gets it. And last one is Hammer Time. He needs a 7. If he makes it through, we won't be going to the bottom group. Oh, we're not going there anyway. There's only 5 if he wrecks. And he makes it through. So everybody just moves up. We'll see if any of these cars can get repaired and get back in the race. A lot of playoff drivers involved in this. There's what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 5 of them involved. The first 4 falls out, they'll be eliminated. How many cars was involved? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9. 9 cars involved in this. First up is Bobby. It's a -1 for repair. So it'll take an 8 for him to get back in this race. And Bobby's back in the race. How about Glen B rather? Is he back in this race? Yes, with a 7. How about Keith White? Yes, they get that car fixed. How about Tim and that 26? No, Tim will be the first one out of the race. He's a non-playoff driver, though. But he will finish 43rd. Here's Candy. And Candy barely stays in the race. Next up is Devin OG. And Devin OG will not make it to the round of 8. The 28 car is unable to finish. He'll be the first playoff driver out of the race. H. Hess, can he get his car back on the track? Barely gets that car fixed. So only playoff driver not to get the car fixed is Devin OG. Here comes Glen P. He can't get his car fixed. Glen will finish 41st. And NP Fox, the pole sitter, can he get his car fixed here? All this happening on turn 1. No, MP Fox started this mess up front, is out of the race and will finish 40th. So right now, the 4 drivers out, Devin OG definitely out of the playoffs, is Bobby, Glen B, and Candy also, the bottom 4, with HS right on the bubble. Alrighty, let's try this green flag again. This time it's Matt taking us to the green flag here on turn number 4. And we got a bottom group, and this time it is Smart in the bottom group. Any of these playoff drivers smart? Glen B smart. Can he get out of the bottom group? Not with a 5. Keith White smart. Did they get that car fixed? Oh, they got more damaged. 44. What kind of trouble they got? A 31. Handle and roll for repair. Take a 6 for him to stay in this race. And he does. He'll drop back to 39th. Candy smart. Can Candy get out of this rear? Get herself back up in playoff contention? Not with a 5. Hess is smart. He's barely in the playoffs right now. With a 116, he gets the job done. Goes from 35th up to 9th. Knocks Steve R back. Put Steve R on the bubble. Next up is Danny and Gray. Not with a 5. Yours truly trying to get out of the rear with the gear. Oh, not with a 5, I'm not. How about Frank? Can he get out of there? How's it going, John? And not with a 4. He's not going nowhere. JB, can he get out of here? Not with a 4. Fanomatic, last week's winner. Not going nowhere. Double D in the deuce with a 113. And he gets Hess. Knocks Hess back from 9th to 27th. Picked up a few spots, but not as comfortable as he would like. Michael P. Smart with a 263. Gets Paul Gavier. Sorry, Paul. Paul goes from 18th back to 22nd as Michael P. moves up. And the last one that's smart back here is Alan Shaw in 11th. And he's not going nowhere. All righty, here we go. Turn number 5, folks. Third of the way done. We got a top group of TV in the top group. See if these playoff drivers can get the lead. First up is Chris. It takes a 3 to beat Matt. A 4-2 ain't getting it done. How about Trouble? 6 ain't getting it done. Zoom. A 2-1, no. Sean D, can he get up there? With a 6, no. The last one's Dez. Matt's holding them off. With a 3-6, Dez gets up and gets the lead here on turn number 5. First playoff driver to lead here at the Glen. We go to turn number 6 now. Oh, awesome, John. Cool. Gotcha, man. Keeps you busy. Here we go with turn number 6. With a middle group of trouble in the middle group. Here we go. The only playoff driver back here is Philip Reynolds. He needs a 7. Doesn't get it. Philip Reynolds is wrecking here at the Glen. How about Double D needs an 8? And he survives. He escapes this mess. Next up is Hammer Time needs a 7. He doesn't get it. Hammer Time's involved in the wreck. Darla needs an 8. She gets it. P-Jet needs a 7. He doesn't get it. P-Jet's involved in this wreck. Here's the other Reynolds, Sarah Reynolds. She needs an 8 to escape. She makes it through. Demos needs a 5. Makes it through. Good driving there. Fast Eddie. He ain't going nowhere with a 9. He's involved in the wreck. Next up is Ward when needs a 6. Doesn't make it. Ward's involved in the wreck. Keith needs a 6. Doesn't get it. We'll be going to the bottom group. Another big one. And Michael P needs a 5. They're wrecking here on this road course. Four projects at one time, I hear you. Michael P needs a 5. He gets it, makes it through. Good driving by Michael P. How about Bob B? He needs a 7. He makes it through. Alan Shaw, what's he need back here? He needs an 8. Doesn't get it. Alan Shaw's involved in the wreck. Next up is Michael B. He needs a 6. He doesn't make it through either. Sure. Here comes Paul. Can Paul make it through? He needs a 7. No, poor Paul Govier's involved in the wreck. He didn't need that. Trying to get out of the bottom 5. How about Parks? He needs an 8. He barely makes it through. G-Puck, the reigning champ. He's going to make it through. Not with a 9. He's not. How about Troy Carter? Needs an 8. He makes it through. Ken, he needs an 8. Ken doesn't make it through. Not with double 5s. Here's a playoff driver. Hess needs a 6. Already been involved in one wreck. And he box cars. He's involved in this one. How much damage can that car take? D. Scott needs a 10. He makes it through. Here's Elvis. Is he leaving the track? No, Elvis is staying put. He escapes. Fan-O-Matic needs an 8. He barely gets it. JB needs a 5. He doesn't get it. Frank, he needs a 6. He doesn't get it. Yours truly needs a 9. I barely get it with an 8. Sure, makes it up there to 19th. Danny and Gray needs a 6. He doesn't make it. Steve R., another playoff driver, needs a 6. He makes it through. Candy needs a 7. She barely makes it through with a 7. Glenn B needs a 7. Doesn't make it through. Glenn B's involved in this wreck. Bobby needs a 6. She doesn't make it through either. Sure. And last but not least is Keith White needs a 7. And he makes it through. So what we got here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 14, 15, 16 cars involved in 1, 2, 3, 4 playoff drivers. We already got Devin OG out of the race. So, alrighty, we're still in the beginning of this race. So again, it'll take a 8 for him to get the car fixed. Bobby's up. Playoff driver. No. Bobby will be eliminated with Devin OG. They cannot get that 20 car fixed this time. That's 2 wrecks. How about Glenn B? We got 2 drivers out of the playoffs now. Can Glenn get that car fixed? Barely. Glenn barely gets that car fixed. How about Danny and Gray? Yes, he's back in the race. How about Frank? No, the 00 will finish 38th. These drivers are having trouble here on this road course. JB gets his car back on the track. How about Hess, another playoff driver? No, Hess is eliminated. That's 3 drivers out of this race that are playoff drivers. H. Hess, Candy, and NP Fox. Only one more driver. Right now, that's Glenn B. He'll be on the bubble. Will be out of this if he don't improve. Ken Castro. He's back in the race barely. How about G-Puck, the reigning champ? He's still running. Here's Paul. Can he get that 55 car back out there? Yes, he does. Michael B. He's still running. Alan Shaw in 11. Alan Shaw's out of the race, not what he needed. He had worked himself out of the bottom 5. He might be back down there. He'll finish 36th. Here comes Keith. He barely gets her going. Roger Ward in that 24. He's still running. How about that 9 car? He's still running. P-Jet in that 44. Yeah, he's still running. Hammer time. Yes, he's still out there. And here's another playoff driver, Philip Reynolds. And Philip Reynolds keeps that car going. Everybody moves up. That'll take us past the pits. So we'll have a pit stop as soon as this race resumes here. All right, Paul. You have a good day. All righty. So on turn number 9, we'll have our pit stop here. Like I say, we got 3 playoff drivers out of this race. HS Bobby and Devin OG. Glenn B's in the last place, 35th right now. The car is still running, so he won't make it. Car on the bubble is Philip Reynolds. Here we go with the pit stops. It'll be a top group 1 and 3 switch. Okay. Can Dez get a chip here? He needs a 4. He doesn't get one. Let's grab a few here. Zoom needs a 4. No. Sean D needs a 5. He barely gets one. Good job by Sean in that 33 car. Matt needs snake eyes. He doesn't get one. Excuse me. Jim Cutter needs a 4. Doesn't get one. Trouble can't get one. And last but not least is Chris needs a 5. He doesn't get one. Sean D in that crew is the only one that came through for him. Righty. Let's see if anybody can beat Dez out of the pits here. 5-3. Trouble gets the lead. Good job of that 55 car. Going up here on turn 9, getting the lead. Okay, on to turn number 10. 100 miles in the books here at the Glen. We got a top group of skill and a problem. First, we'll do skill. Trouble doesn't have skill, so it'll take a 3 to beat her. And a 6-6 ain't getting it done. Next up is Matt trying to retake the lead. Now with a 5-5. Zoom with skill. A 3-2, no. And Sean doesn't have skill. Now let's see who has the problem in this top group. And it's going to be Dez with a problem. Uh-oh. Not good. Because Dez be the next victim at Watkins Glen. He's got a 64. He's got an engine problem. And we are now in the middle part of the race. We -1 from the repair. So it takes a 4 for Dez to stay in this race. And it's not happening. So there's your 4 drivers eliminated. Dez will not be going to the round of 8. So everybody else is safe and can go for the win now. They're all working with gravy money now. Let's see if Michael P can get up here. Yes, he does. He gets up to the top group. Like I say, the rest of these playoff drivers now can go for it. Don't have to worry about wrecking or something happening to the car. They're moving on. Only 8 playoff drivers still running. Keith White, can he get up here to the middle group? No. How about Candy? No. How about Steve R? Steve R, no. How about Philip Reynolds? Philip Reynolds goes from 23rd up to 19th. We only got 34 cars still running here at the Glen. And we have 4 playoff drivers eliminated. Here we go. Turn number 11. And we got a middle group of skill and a problem. First, we'll do the skill. First up is Dwayne Martz. Can I get out of this middle group? A 1-1-1. I got a problem. The last few races, it has not been good for me. What kind of problem do I have? A 56. Loss of engine. Out of the race and a yellow flag. Kaboom goes the 21. Blows up. I will finish 34th. Say the last 3 races now, not been good. Since the yellow comes out, everybody just moves up. Nobody else has a chance to move up. And we still got another problem in the middle group here. See what kind of problem that is. First, we'll see who has the problem. 43. That'll be the 4 odd car. So it's D. Scott Howard. What kind of problem does Howard have? A 55. He's got an odd problem. And a 31. Broken sway bar to the end of the bottom group. At least D. Scott's still in the race. And since there was a caution with me blowing up, we'll just move everybody up. The Glen's not being kind to these drivers. That'll take us to turn number 13, folks. Green flag out again. Trouble leading us there. And we got a top group of smart and a problem. We'll do smart first. We roll double 6s. First up's Michael P. And it takes a 4 to beat trouble. 3-6. Look at that. Michael P. takes that 73 car to the front here. Good job on turn number 13. All righty. Who else is smart? Matt Smart takes a 4 to beat Michael. 6-5. No. Sean D. Smart with a chip. And 2-2. He gets his buddy Michael P., but he has to use his chip. Sean D. gets the lead here on turn 13. And now we got a problem in the top group. Who has the problem? And it is Matt. Matt's going to have the problem. What kind of problems does Matt have? A 62 clutch problem. So it'll take a 4 for Matt to stay in the race. And he does. They get the clutch fixed. He'll drop back to 33rd. See if Bob B can move up here. No. How about Sarah Reynolds? Yes, Sarah Reynolds moves up. Can Steve R get up here to the middle group? No. How about Hammer Time? No. How about P-Jet? Yes, P-Jet moves from 22nd up to 19th. And we'll keep 33 cars still running here. Say Matt and his crew's able to get that clutch fixed. We go to turn 14. Yeah, exactly. John, no fire. Don't want no fire. Here we go. Turn 14. And we got our first pedal to the metal of the race. And it's going to be the 9 car. Demos will be starting this. Double D join him. Yes, he will. Next up is Darla. No, it's just a two-man gang going after Bob B. They get him. Going after Sarah Reynolds, going for the top group. Sarah puts the big block. They only pick up one spot. They knock Bob B back to 10th. And we go to turn number 15. And we got a top group of trouble. They're wrecking like crazy. And all these playoff drivers are up here. Sean D needs a 7 to escape this mess. He gets it with a 6. Michael P needs a 5. He doesn't get it. Michael P will be involved in a wreck. Zoom needs an 8. She gets it with Snake Eyes. Moves on up. Good driving by Zoom. Jim Cutter needs an 8. He doesn't get it. The 68 car is involved. Chris needs an 8. He gets it. He's moving back up. Trouble can't wreck. She moves on up. And Sarah Reynolds needs an 8 and gets it. So we won't be going to the middle group. Just 2 cars involved. Everybody else just moves on up. No playoff drivers involved, of course. Now it don't matter because 4 drivers are already out of this race that are playoff drivers. All right, let's see if Jim Cutter and Michael P can get the car fixed. We are still in the middle part of the race. It'll take a 6 for him to get back on the track. Here's Jim Cutter. No, the 68 car will finish 33rd. How about Michael P? Can he get back out on the track? No, Michael P, after leading this race, will finish 32nd. Alrighty, folks. That'll take us to the pit stops here on turn 17. The money stop, the last stop of the race. And it'll be the bottom group. 1 and 3 will switch. See if any of these guys back here can get some chips. Let's grab a handful. First up is Keith. He needs a 6. See if he can get a chip. No. How about Roger Ward? He needs a 6. No. Fast Eddie needs a 4. He gets a chip. Good job by that 9 car. How about Michael B needing a 6? No. Paul, he needs a 5. 55 car doesn't get one. G-Puck needs a 8. He gets a chip. How about Ken needing a 4? No. JB needs a 7. No. Danny and Gray needs a 6. No. Glenn B needs a 5. No. And Chris needs a 3. No. And Matt needs Snake Eyes. No. So only 2 cars are moving up here with chips. See if anybody can beat Sean D out of the pits. $31 cars still running. And like I say, let's see, can Sean hold them all? 3-1, no. Zoom gets the lead here, turn 17. That 4 car. Alrighty, folks. Getting close to the end here on the final third of the race. We got a middle group of Star in the middle group. How many stars we got back here? First up is Steve R. Trying to get up to the top. Not with a 5, he's not. Candy trying to get that 68 car up there. Not with a 6. And nobody else has a star on to turn number 19. We got a bottom group of skill and a problem. First we'll do skill. Matt trying to get out of the rear with the gear. Not with a 6. How about Howard in that 13 car? Not with a 6. Danny and Gray with a 3-1-6 gets the job done. Gets Darla. Goes from 28th up to 9th. Good job. Ken Castro trying to get out of the bottom group. A 3-1-2. And gets Danny and Gray. He didn't stay there long. Ken goes from 26 up to 9th. Michael B. Not going nowhere with a 6. How about Roger Ward in that 24? A 2-1-2. And he gets Elvis. Goes from 23rd up to 8th. Keith Avalon's got skill. A 1-6-5. He goes up to 19th. And you got G-Puck with skill and a chip. And he'll need to use it. And he goes to 14th. Knocks Philip Reynolds back to 21st. And that's it. Now we got to find out who has the problem back here. 46 might not be nobody. There's many cars that's out of the race. Driver 12 in the back here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And it's Matt. Let's see what kind of trouble he has back here. 16. Cut tire undercarriage. Roll for repair. We are now in the last third of the race. So it'll take 4 for him to stay in the race. No, Matt will finish 31st, leaving us only 30 cars still running. Turn 20, 200 miles down. And we got a middle group of control in the middle group. First up is Keith in that one car. A 1-5-4. Gets demos. Goes from 19th up to 6th. Candy trying to get up there. Give herself a shot at the lead. A 1-6-3 gets Sean. Gets Double D. Goes from 16th up to 7th. Keith White trying to get that 17 car up front. Not with a 5. The reigning champ, G-Puck. A 3-3-2. Gets Sean D, who was leading this race not too long ago. Drops back to 14th. G-Puck up to 4th. Fan-O-Matic, last week's winner. Not going nowhere. Bob B. Not going nowhere with a 4. Troy Carter trying to get up front. Not with a 5. Last one's Ken. He's been running good here. And he's not going nowhere with a 4, though. On to turn 21. We got a middle group of control again. Here we go. First up's Keith White. A 3-1-2. And Trouble holds him off with that control factor. Good job by Trouble. Sean D trying to get back up there. A 3-5-1. Ain't getting that with that 1. Fan-O-Matic trying to go back to back. A 1-2-3 gets Chris. Goes from 13th up to 3rd. Bob B. Not going nowhere with a 4. Troy Carter with another shot at it. Not with a 4. And last one's Ken in that 92 car. A 1-5-5 gets Keith. Goes from 9th up to 6th. Turn 22, folks. We're getting close to the end here. 4, John. 4 playoff drivers. Each race, 4 drop out. We'll be down to 8 at Talladega. All right, turn 22 is a top group of heat. Who's bringing the heat? Sarah Reynolds is bringing the heat. It'll take a 4 to beat Zoom. 1-4 gets the job done. Sarah Reynolds puts that 97 car up front late in the race. Turn 22. Okay. Who else has heat? Trouble's got heat. Takes a 4 to beat Sarah. And a 5-5. No. So here we go. Turn 23. 3 turns to go, folks. We got a top group of heat again and a problem. First up is Zoom. Again, it takes a 4 to get Sarah. A 3-5. Zoom gets the lead back. They're going back and forth here, these two. Turn 23. Alrighty. And the only car with heat is Trouble left. Can Trouble get the lead? Not with a 5. So now we got the problem. Who has the problem in the top group? And it is G-Puck, the defending champ, has a problem, or the reigning champ. Unscheduled pit stop. Gonna have to roll for repair again. It'll take snake eyes for G-Puck to stay in the race here. No, G-Puck will finish 30th. Defending champ has not, or the reigning champ has not had a good year. That's for sure. Alrighty, let's see who moves up to the top and middle group. Turn 24 coming up. First up is Ward. He moves on up. Let's see if old Fast Eddie in the 9 car can move up with a chip. Yes, he does. Alrighty, folks. On to turn 24. 2 turns to go. 2 turns to go. And we got a bottom group of heat and a problem. First up is heat. And it'll be Darla. A 5's not going nowhere. Danny and Gray with heat. A 1-2-5. Gets Bob. Goes from 25th up to 11th. Elvis. Is Elvis leaving this bottom group? Oh, 2-1-5. Elvis has left the bottom group. Goes from 22nd up to 8th. And that's it as far as the heat. Now we'll see who has the problem. If anybody back here. Be 16th, so somebody will. It'll be driver number 3. It'll be Keith Avalon with the problem. A 23. What kind of problems does Keith Avalon have? Tire rub dropped to the bottom group. So Keith stays in the race at least, but he'll be running 29th. Everybody moves on up. So we go to the white flag, folks. We are on the final turn here at the Glen. Here we go. Can Zoom hold on to win this race? We got a top group of star and a problem. First, we'll do the problem since it's the last. See who has the problem first. And it'll be Roger Ward with the problem. And he blows an engine. So Roger Ward will be out of the race and will finish 29th. See who moves up here with a shot at the lead. So Elvis has moved out of the middle group. Elvis has left the middle group. See if Philip Reynolds can move up. No. How about Hammer Time? No. How about Michael B? Yes, Michael B goes from 22nd up to 19th. Alrighty. And we got star. Elvis is not a star. Candy's a star. Takes a 4 to beat Zumo. 1-3 no. And the last one with a shot to win here is Trouble. And a 4-4. And Zoom holds them off and wins here at the Glen. And we'll be moving on to the round 3. The final 8. Your winner in the 4 car is Zoom. Alrighty, folks. Good day for her. And Trouble will be second in that 55. Was a lot of this race was Trouble. Had a lot of trouble in this race, and Trouble finishes second. The 19 Fan-O-Matic, good race. Won last week, finishes third this week. Sarah Reynolds couldn't hold them off at the end there. And Zoom wins, but Sarah Reynolds had a good race. Ken Castro with another good race, trying to prove he should have been in the playoffs. He was the first car knocked out. Candy, playoff driver, finishes 6th in that 68. And Elvis finishes 7th. Good job by Elvis. And Elvis has now left the racetrack, fans. 88 finishes 8th. Parks. Nice run by Troy Carter in that 55. Finishes in the top 10. And last car in the top 10, Danny and Gray. Playoff driver Chris finishes 11th. Sean D, who had the lead for a while, finishes a disappointing 12th. Keith White up in the top 15, finishes 13th. Double D in the Deuce finishes 14th. The 44 of P-Jet finishes 15th. 25 of Steve R finishes 16th. The 17 of Demos finishes 17th. And the 9 car with the chip, Fast Eddie, he finishes 18th. Michael B in the 1, he finishes 19th. 64, Philip Reynolds, a playoff driver. He'll be moving on now. So we had 4 playoff drivers follow out of this race. 34 of Hammer Time finishes 22nd. And Paul Govier in the 55 finishes 22nd rather. Bob B in the 69, he'll finish 23rd. And JB in the 79 finishes 24th. And Darla in the 14 finishes 25th. And the last playoff driver in the race is Glenn B, but he'll be moving on to the round of 8. Finishes 26th. D. Scott Howard in that 13 finishes 27th. And the last car still running, the 1 car, Keith Avalon. I want to thank John Wise, Paul Gavier, ID Gesture and Hunter for stopping by here at the Glen in New York. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. If you're new to the channel, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for reminders. And on your way out of Watkins Glen, hit that like button and leave comments on what you think about this race in YRL. And here in a few minutes or hours, we'll have YRL Division 2 at Talladega on the channel next. Until then, y'all take care and have a great afternoon.